World War II was a conflict that redefined the roles of millions, blurring the lines of traditional societal expectations. While men faced the brutal realities of combat, women across the globe stepped into roles previously unimaginable, contributing to the war effort in myriad ways. However, within the vast tapestry of wartime experiences, the fate of women serving in the Soviet military stood stark and brutal. Their courage on a battlefield was met with a unique and chilling form of reprisal by the German forces, a testament to the ideological hatred that fueled the conflict. In Britain, women became the backbone of the home front, filling vital roles in the land army, ensuring the nation's food supply, and working tirelessly in munitions factories, producing the armaments necessary for the war effort. These contributions, though essential, were largely confined to support roles. In contrast, the Soviet Union, facing the existential threat of Nazi invasion, made the unprecedented decision to integrate women directly into combat roles. The German military, deeply entrenched in Nazi ideology, viewed this decision with contempt. Hitler's vision for women was rooted in traditional domesticity, focused on producing and raising children for the Third Reich. The sight of women bearing arms, particularly against them, was considered an affront to their worldview. They perceived female Soviet soldiers as a manifestation of the barbaric and backwards nature of Stalin's communist regime, a direct ideological enemy. This ideological hatred translated into brutal treatment on the battlefield. Captured female soldiers were not treated as prisoners of war. They were seen as political threats, akin to Soviet commissars, and were marked for immediate execution. German commanders, like General Feldmarschall von Kluge, issued explicit orders to shoot any woman found in Soviet uniform, labeling them a terrible element of Bolshevism and justifying atrocities against them. The execution of captured female soldiers was often a swift and merciless affair. They were denied the protections of military tribunals and were typically shot at close range, often with a single bullet to the head. This method of execution, distinct from the military formality of a firing squad, underscored the dehumanization they faced. They were not afforded the dignity of a soldier's death, nor were they given the possibility of imprisonment. Some women were subjected to public hangings, their bodies left on display as a grim warning to others. This was the fate of young partisans like Zoya Kosmodemyanskaya, whose defiance in the face of torture and execution became a symbol of resistance. Despite her youth and the brutality she endured, Zoya's final words echoed the unwavering spirit of the Soviet people. Initially, the Soviet Union, like many nations, had reservations about women serving in combat. However, the staggering losses suffered during Operation Barbarossa forced a change in policy. Joseph Stalin, recognizing the desperate need for manpower, authorized the recruitment of women into frontline roles. This decision led to the formation of all-female units that would distinguish themselves in combat. Female pilots, like the legendary Night Witches of the 46th Tamon Guards Night Bomber Aviation Regiment, flew thousands of daring missions, attacking German forces under cover of darkness. Their outdated biplanes and silent gliding tactics made them a formidable and feared enemy. Other female aviation regiments, such as the 586th Fighter Aviation Regiment and the 125th Guards Bomber Aviation Regiment, also demonstrated exceptional skill and bravery. Beyond the air, women served in a variety of roles on the ground. They filled the ranks of the Red Army as anti-aircraft gunners, nurses, and frontline soldiers, replacing the men who had fallen in battle. Among the most feared and respected were the female snipers, who operated with deadly precision in the ruins of cities like Leningrad and Stalingrad. Women like Lyudmila Pavlichenko, with her record of 309 confirmed kills, became icons of Soviet resistance. In occupied territories, women joined partisan groups, engaging in sabotage and guerrilla warfare. Even teenage girls took up arms against the German occupiers. However, the risks were immense. Capture often meant torture and execution, a fate that loomed over every female fighter. Photographs in the era capture the fear and determination in the faces of captured female soldiers. These images serve as a stark reminder of the unique and brutal treatment they faced. Within moments of these photos being taken, many of these women were likely executed. Their deaths were not merely acts of war. They were ideological executions, driven by a deep-seated hatred of the very idea of women as combatants. The approximately 800,000 women who served in the Soviet military during World War II demonstrated extraordinary courage and resilience. Their contributions were vital to the Soviet war effort. Yet, their experiences also highlight the dark undercurrents of ideological warfare, where the lines between combatant and civilian were blurred, and the rules of engagement were often discarded. Their stories serve as a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity, and a chilling reminder of the ideological hatred that fueled the conflict.